King County Superior Court Judge Nicole Gaines Phelps had a decision to make in this case. Prosecutors wanted her to sentence convicted rapist Francisco Carranza-Ramirez to community supervision after his release from jail. That would mean, in theory, he'd be easier to keep track of. But the judge had a different idea to weigh. She could send the native of Mexico back to his home country, something he himself had requested at sentencing. The only caveat is that technically he would have had to do so on his own without supervision or an escort of any kind. Court documents for his sentencing explain the details of the judge's decision. Defendant shall leave the country and live in Mexico. Defendant shall provide proof that he has arrived and is residing in Mexico. If defendant doesn't abide by above conditions, court will order a no bail warrant and likely impose community custody. The only problem is that Carranza-Ramirez did not return to Mexico right away after his release. Instead, police say he returned first to attack the same wheelchair-dependent woman he'd already raped in front of her 2-year-old child. She is now in hiding under protective custody, scared for her life, and wondering how the criminal justice system could have failed her so badly. Part of the problem may have been the state's sanctuary laws for immigrants, which prohibited prosecutors, the judge, the King County Jail from asking about Carranza-Ramirez's immigration status, let alone contacting ICE to make sure he returned to Mexico as promised.
The state has effectively blocked us from accessing any sort of state law enforcement databases. And we cannot also access the detainees themselves in local custody. So we have to find sources of information that are available to the public to try to even determine who is in the local jail. So oftentimes, we are only going to know after the fact. We were not alerted that this person was going to be released from local custody.
Opponents of the state's sanctuary laws and policies had warned against situations just like this, worried the laws would give cover to violent criminals in the country illegally, while leaving victims feeling like a casualty of progressive policies.